Hey everyone, this is John here. We have a lot of updates to share that we've been making over the last few weeks. So that's what this video is going to be all about. It's currently May 9th, 2026, and this is a LeadCapture Next Gen feature update video. I'm going to give you a tour of some of the bigger updates and enhancements that we've made that you all need to pay attention to. Now, before we dive into it, a few housekeeping items. We've been moving really fast with development. Eventually, we're probably going to have to slow down a little bit. But there's a lot that we've been dropping in, not just over the last few weeks, but over the last few months. And I realize it's probably getting harder to keep track of. So there's a few things I'm going to start doing. As soon as we slow down, I'll be getting more into a specific cadence around how we share out our updates and enhancements. But keep in mind that you can access a full running log of all the notes and enhancements by going to tutorial. Nope, that's not it. By going to help and then going to either roadmap or release notes. They both go to the same thing right now. And then this brings you to this page, and you can simply just scroll through by date and see all of the recent updates. And I always try to leave a little personal note at the end as far as what we're building, why we're doing what we're doing, and sharing some of the decisions that are guiding the direction of next gen. So that's the first thing that you can do. I also have been trying to create these videos where they're kind of long and I kind of ramble on, but I'm trying to really just show in one shot all the updates that we're making. Hopefully, at some point, I could do a better job with these videos. And then another quick thing, we always try to train our AI Copilot on the features. So if you have questions, come in here to Copilot. We also have help documentation that we try to keep updated. I think we need to actually go through and update some of the help docs. There's also some sort of an AI tool here. And then also we are going to be launching a ongoing live webinar type thing where I go through, share updates, share tactics. And I think that'll be a pretty good way for everybody to stay up to date as well, to get more out of the LeadCapture platform and just to be more successful in general with all the campaigns that you're all working on. So with that all said, let's just dive into this. First, I'm going to start with just some general workflow builder type enhancements that we've made, but I'm going to end with something that's really cool, gamification. I cannot wait to show you the gamification funnels that you can build. I should have started with that. I can't stop thinking about that, and there's so much more we can do with gamification to help drive engagement and conversion. We'll end with that. That's the little bribe to keep you watching this video, I guess. So let's dive into this here. I'm just going to go into a random funnel that we have, and most of the funnels that you see here are just like for testing, so they probably won't look great. Oh, don't want to share that yet. You just call it a sneak peek of our gamification feature here. So let's go with this one here. Okay. So a few updates here just to kind of like improve your workflow. This is actually massive. There's version history here. So as you're building, we're taking snapshots of the funnel that you're working on. If you make a huge mistake, simply click here. This opens up the side panel and you'll see the snapshots being stored. Click into it and then you can see what changes you made. There's still some updates that we have to make here, but you'll see the changes and then you can simply restore it by clicking restore this version. So that's one of the key updates we made to the workflow when you're building, but another key one here is an undo button. So some of the feedback that we got was I was going through the builder, making a change. I accidentally deleted an entire section. Do I really have to rebuild it? So unfortunately, before this update you did, but now you simply go up here, click undo, and you can undo it. I forget how far we go back, but it's pretty far back in terms of changes. For example, if I undo all this, you'll see I could get both those back. You can even redo it. So between undo and versioning history, if you screw up, you can pretty much undo all the mistakes that were made. So that should hopefully help a little bit. Another big update here. And when I say big, I mean like it's big in terms of workflow. It may not seem huge, but when you're creating new steps, let's say you're cloning a step, when you clone the step, you can rename the step right in the list. Previously, you had to click like 3 to 4 times to get to the place to rename the step. Now you just do that right there. You can also like double click or triple click into a step to update the name of the step. So naming steps is much faster, allowing you to move a bit faster. Okay, so that's like the workflow side with buildings. We discussed version history, undo, and then let's talk about Copilot. We made some enhancements here. I won't go too deep into this, but there's two enhancements. First, there's the enhancement that you won't see, but you'll probably experience as you start to interact with Copilot more. Copilot's memory has been improved, and the memory essentially will persist across your funnel in multiple sessions, much better than it did before. And it will have more context around the type of funnel that you're building to try to steer you in the right direction and make recommendations. So that's one of the updates there. There's also this tab. So now we're trying to think about how do we get Copilot to identify potential problems before you launch or when you're building. And you'll see it surfaces up potential problems, and you can even have Copilot try to fix it for you. We probably should have beta. I think this is kind of more in beta because there's a chance it could recommend things that aren't really that useful. It's just like a work in progress. It's quite complex to build this, but you'll see here that you can have Copilot fix it, or you can simply just dismiss it, and then hopefully it doesn't show up again. So this is the direction we're trying to take Copilot, where it's kind of proactive and helping you identify potential problems or opportunities as you're working. And I mean, the sky's the limit with this while we continue to optimize and improve it. So that's the Copilot side. And let's dive into the next update here, video. So video is one of my favorite recent updates that we made aside from the gamification. And it's because when we launched video, we didn't just build out a video feature, we just plop a video in. We thought through some, I think, more interesting and unique features that most lead funnel survey form platforms don't have. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So if we just drag video here, before this update, the only way to add a video was to use a YouTube link. You would add in your link, but now we have a video library. And this is free for all users, so there's no additional cost to use this. You simply upload a video here, so you could choose from your library. You'll see I have 2 videos. So you can upload a video in, and then you can choose the size of the video. Let's actually go to another example here. So I'm going to log out. I'm going to go into a different account because I have some better examples to show. So when you're adding your video, you'll see you can add these nice vertical videos like this, and you can add in a countdown timer to engage somebody as soon as they hit your page. So imagine you're running Meta ads or Google ads or TikTok, and you're showing a vertical real type video like this in the feed. They click it, maybe you put that same feed or a continuation video, maybe you put that same video style or a continuation video of that video into the landing page, and you have this little countdown. They see this, it engages them, and they want to click to play. That's the whole idea there. When my dad passed, the bills. So that's one thing that you can do, and I think that is pretty unique. I'm not aware of a single platform that really does something like that, but that's not all. So if you go to style here, this is where things get pretty crazy. You can also come in here and you can choose CTA cards. So let's just take a quick look at this video here. We'll play it.
When my dad passed, we went into
just
debt just to bury him. That stress never leaves your family. If you're over 40, check final expense.
And then you'll see we added a CTA at the end. And all you have to do is click here, and it can anchor down to the actual funnel, or it could route you to a different funnel or a different page. And this solves the problem of what happens at the end of a video. I personally, as I guess like a marketing product person, hate at the end of videos when it's just like a blank screen or maybe just like a logo or something. So we added CTAs. And then that's not all. There's more that you can do with the video. You can come in here and you'll see that there's some different controls. So you can hide playback controls, like you can hide the pause button. You can essentially lock the screen and hide the progress bar. You can force somebody to watch it so they can't skip through. And you can do a few more things. So when we built this video feature, we looked at what are like the top direct response marketers on Meta and TikTok doing when it comes to video, and they're doing things like this. So we tried to think through, how do you not just have a way to embed video, but how do you embed video in a way where it could help hopefully increase engagement and conversion rates. So that's the video side. And then it's also just worth noting that they don't have to be in this format. You can have them square. I think this one that I uploaded is like this, so it's hard to change the format. You can have wide. So you can play around with all the different styling there. Okay, I'm back into my other account here. And let's talk about adding graphics into the funnel. Oh, don't want to show this one again. I'm going to give away. I don't want to spoil the gamification surprise here. So let's talk about adding images in. So let's say you want a graphic here. One of the challenges people had was, how do you crop an image? So now let's just take this. I'll just take a screenshot of this. And then I'm going to upload the screenshot. And now you can crop images when you add them in. This just helps improve workflow. So let's say I come in here and I go to add in this image. And when doing this, I completely forgot that my computer's having some sort of an issue where when I upload files, it freezes and I have to wait. I haven't shut down my computer in like 2 weeks. So I need to shut down my computer. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to wait this out. This is not a problem with LeadCapture. It's a problem with my computer taking forever to upload files into different sites. So I'm just going to pause and jump back in once this uploads. All right, so my computer keeps freezing whenever I try to open my files to get to an image to upload, so we're going to skip that, but we now have the ability to crop images when we upload them, making it much easier to get an image size perfectly the first time. In addition to images, you can also now add images directly into the top of your form. So before this update, you can only add images directly into the page itself, but now you can add an image here and you can size it in all different ways. For example, you simply come in here, click on the little pencil, and then you're going to see an area to add an image right here where it says step image. Now, when you're adding images to your form, you can either have the image persist across all steps, or you can add it to a specific step. And you can override it. You can even have an image, so you can have the image like take up the full width like that, or you can even set it to like a picture of a person and make it circle like that. So now you can test adding a picture of a person right into your form or survey or funnel, just like that. All right, let's move on to the next round of updates, Confetti Cannons. This is another one of my favorite little features that we dropped in. You can now blast people with confetti. So let's give you an example here. Let's say maybe you have a processing step like this, and this is the way that I would probably use this feature. So someone's going through your funnel, and then they hit the processing step. You say, great news, you may qualify. Then they hit their name. And instead of just saying, hey there, what's your name? Before you do that, you turn on confetti cannons. I'll show you a preview. You can see it here. So they go through the form, hit processing, and they're like, okay, sounds good. And then bam, confetti, you throw confetti at them, wake them up a little bit, and they go, oh, this person's a little different. This person thinks different. This business is different. Maybe I will submit my name. They care about my experience. I think it's subtle, but I think this will go a long way. I would definitely recommend trying out confetti cannons. And when you use confetti cannons, put them at the bottom end of your funnel around maybe your name, contact info. You could put it on the thank you page and you could say, thank you, throw confetti at them, do all that fun stuff. But I would probably put it up here just to kind of jolt them awake and make them go, oh, this business thinks different. So that's the confetti cannon feature. Small but mighty. We have URL pre-pops via UTMs. I don't remember if this was part of the last release or not, but this is an interesting one, so I'll just touch on this real quick. We also made some updates to the settings section. You'll see you can navigate simply by clicking on various little tabs here. So let's go to, I believe it's in other settings maybe. It's actually up here. So you can pre-pop your funnels and surveys with UTM parameters. An example is this. A example of this is, let's say you're sending out an email campaign, and you already know somebody's name, their phone number, their email address, their home address, things like that. If it's in the UTM parameter and you flip the switch, there's some configuration that you would need to do, but you can now pre-pop your fields. You can set it as a hidden field so they don't even see it, or they'll see the data show up in the field and they click continue. So that is a way to, I guess, like reduce friction from, I don't know, like text message retargeting campaigns and all that type of stuff. So while we're in settings, let's take a look at a couple of new features here as well. You can preserve UTMs and click IDs on redirects. So let's say you're using Meta ads, Google ads, or so on, and you're having someone click through from the ad and you have your UTM parameters, and then you're redirecting them to a subpage or a thank you page. Well, one of the problems that most platforms faced, and we also faced this as well, was that all the UTMs and parameters would drop off. But now if you flip this switch on, all and it's just flip this switch on, that's all you have to do. Those parameters will be preserved and then passed through to the next page wherever you're redirecting your traffic. And then that is the preserving of the UTMs and click IDs. Let's discuss. I want to talk through lead resume in a moment, but let's talk about some updates to tracking and attribution. So, in the last round of updates, we released a whole ton of tracking and attribution features, from Meta with the ability to add enhanced conversions for CAPI, to a Google Ads conversion, to Google Tag Manager, to TikTok tracking pixel. But we also, in this round of updates, released a GA4 integration. So now, if you want to integrate with GA4, you can simply flip the switch, add your measurement ID. And if you're looking to push your conversion events into Google Ads from GA4, all you have to do here is add the event name that you're importing from GA4 into Google Ads. This is the recommended way to get your conversion data from LeadCapture into Google Ads. My understanding is Google is pushing people through it towards the GA4 integration approach, where you basically connect GA4 to the Google Ad platform, and then you import your conversion events into the Google Ad platform, and then you just need your event name and you add it here. So this is the approach to use. You could also do this through Tag Manager or the standard Google Ads conversion tracking method. I think this is a little bit dated, but we still have this because some people still use this method. We're going to have a whole video on this soon because there's a lot of questions that come up around it. And then for firing the GA4 conversion event, you can go into a specific step within the funnel, and then you will see on the left-hand side there would be a section to add in a lead event when the form is fired. We don't have this here because I didn't set up the integration. It would only show up if I were to enable the GA4 integration. So that is the GA4 integration that was added in. And now let's go to lead recovery. So partial lead capture has been a feature that we've always had. And the way this works here is, as someone's going through the funnel, if you enable partial lead capture and they enter in their contact details and they abandon, you can still capture the lead and it's tagged as partial lead, and you can even set a timeout. So for example, if you set it to 5 minutes, it basically says if the person stops going through the form and 5 minutes passes, push the lead, and it could be pushed into your CRM, lead distribution systems, and LeadCapture. And like I said, it's stored as a partial lead. Well, one of the things that came up was this whole idea of, if we're getting partial leads, there's this big opportunity to retarget them through text messaging and email campaigns to have them pick up where they dropped off. But the problem was we didn't have an easy way to do that, because that requires cooking the prospect and storing that cookie and session data across different browsers and devices. And that ultimately led to one of our newest features in the lead recovery bucket called lead resume. So if you turn on lead resume, the way this works here is it gives you a way to have the prospect pick up where they left off. And let me show you how this works here. So I'm going to enable lead resume. And the use case here is probably more so they're like at the very beginning stages. I'll just move the contact info step here. And then I'll save this. Let's see what info we're getting. So we're getting, I'll add in a name. So I'll just say first name is John. I'll type that in. So imagine someone's going through. So imagine someone comes to your page and they put in their name. I'm going to put in a different name. And they enter their phone number. And let's say you partial lead turned on. And they hit this step and they bail for some reason. This happens from time to time. So let's say they leave. Now partial lead's enabled. I'm going to wait a minute and then we should see the lead come through and then I'll show you how lead resume works. Okay, here's the lead that just came through. Keep in mind, this is a partial lead and we know this because it says partial lead. But if you look down here, there's this resume URL and this has a unique token associated with just this lead. So if we copy this and then if we go to this link here, it says welcome back. We saved your progress. Continue where you left off. And you can even personalize this. It could have said welcome back, Mike. I forgot to do that. And then if I click continue, it now picks up where we dropped off. Now, if I were to submit the rest of this funnel, what will happen here is within the same lead record, it will update the entire lead record. So it's updating the same record and then it will repush it. So this is a interesting feature, I think, to use if you're capturing leads at the beginning, if you're capturing context details at the beginning or middle stages of your funnel, and you're looking to then retarget them back into the funnel via text message or email automations or AI. There's some interesting things that you could do here. Currently, the way this works here is we push the resume URL into your lead distribution tool or CRM, but eventually we'll probably have some sort of an AI agent that can send out a text message in the event that somebody abandons. And this is a great way for you to win back people who abandon to hopefully increase your conversion rate. It's definitely something to test. You could A/B test this against maybe a funnel that has contact details at the end. So this is when you can start to test contact details at the beginning or the end. And there's just, I feel like so much more that you can test now with this feature. Let's dive into another major update here, lead scoring. LeadCapture now has lead scoring. This has been a highly requested feature for quite some time. So to turn on lead scoring, you simply flip the switch. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but the way this works here is as you add in your different fields, they'll begin to show up here. If you click add field, you simply select the fields that you want to use for lead scoring. And then you can give each option within your field or each response a score. You can choose what you want the score value to be. And then what happens here is as somebody goes through each step within your funnel, a score starts to get calculated. And then at the end of the funnel, the lead will get a score. You can also add a validation bonus. You can say, okay, maybe somebody has verified their phone number with like OTP. If they pass OTP phone verification, increase their score to 15. Or you could say, if click fraud passes as good, score the lead as maybe 25. But if click fraud detection shows warn, meaning maybe the lead's good, maybe it's click fraud, maybe just make it like a 2. And then this is how you can begin to score your leads. And there's a few different ways you could use this. First, within the flow logic section, you can go to add rule. And then you could say something like if lead score is equal to, or if lead score is less than, I don't know, 20, then maybe DQ the lead or route them to a different direction. But if the lead is greater than X, then mark them as qualified and route them in another direction. And you could do that in the middle of the flow or at the end. And then if you drill into a lead, you'll see here, if you're using lead scoring, a lead score panel will appear on the right-hand side. and you will get this lead score value with each lead, and you can even see what options somebody selected that led to the total lead score. This lead score can be passed into your CRM, and it can be passed into your lead distribution tools. So why use this? Well, there's two reasons. The first reason is because it gives you a new filter for qualification and routing. The second reason to use lead score, actually there's three reasons. The second reason is because it helps with prioritization. You could begin to prioritize all leads that have the highest score while deprioritizing leads that have the lowest score. So if you're handling follow-up or your sales team, you can use the score. Or if you have buyers or clients, you could begin to train them to focus on and prioritize leads with the highest score. The third reason here is if you're an agency or if you're selling leads, this gives you a new and interesting way to actually prove that your leads are high quality. I think we all talk about lead qualification and generating high quality leads, but how do we actually prove that? I think we can prove that in some ways by showing if a lead passes some of the phone verification checks and contact score and all that. Lead score is a whole new way to begin to prove that you're generating highly qualified leads. So check out lead score. It's available on all plans. There's no additional cost to use this one as well. Now, since we're on the topic of lead scoring and lead qualification, let's dive into another one of our highly requested features. This is one that I'm pretty excited about. It's click fraud identification. So if we go into, let's see here, if we go back here, I don't want to use this one because this is going to give away our gamification feature that I'm saving until the end. If we go to this funnel here, now we have the ability to help identify if you're getting bot traffic or just bad clicks to your site. So the way that this works here is if you go to lead verification, we have a new feature called click fraud detection. And this is powered by Anura. They're one of the leaders in click fraud identification. So a quick note here on this is when you're getting bad leads or spammy leads, sometimes those spammy leads are from sophisticated fraudsters who are clicking through. We see a lot of click fraud from Meta. It's actually pretty crazy the amount of click fraud that's been coming through lately. And one of the ways to keep spam out of your forms and funnels is to use lead verification, like email verification, OTP phone verification, phone validation. But there's another tactic that you can use, and that is identifying the click before they even begin to submit and filtering them out. And when you use click fraud detection and validation combined, it's like, in my opinion, the best way to do it because you're using multiple methods to reduce the likelihood of the spam getting through. And if you use click fraud detection and you're preventing bots from getting through, it could reduce consumption of credits and OTP, phone verification, and all that type of stuff, meaning you could actually save money in the long run by using all the stuff combined. So with click fraud detection, there's a couple ways this works. First, you need to have credits. Um, I'll dive into that in a moment. It's 1 credit per request, and you flip on the switch, and then you have two choices here. You can enrich and just get the data. And by enriching, you're going to get essentially like a score. And the score's 3 categories: bad, worn, or good. We'll discuss them in a moment. That score could be carried through with your lead. You'll see how that gets integrated into LeadCapture in a moment, and then you can do things with that score. Or you can enrich and block the lead. And when you block the lead, you can then say, if a lead shows a verdict of bad, meaning it's probably bot traffic or some sort of farm where there's like fraudsters sending in bad bot traffic. I forget exactly what you call it. You could flip this switch on, and when a click is deemed as being bad, the form will just be blocked completely and they won't even be able to complete it. But if you choose warn as well, you can do the same thing. So the strategy here that Anura recommends, this is straight from them, is to start with enrichment, capture data first. Then if you're seeing a lot of bads come through, block out the bads so the form doesn't even load. So I would definitely think about that if you're having issues with click fraud. Now, this is just the beginning. So you would simply turn on click fraud, and then let me show you how this integrates into the platform here. So if you have click fraud detection turned on, you're going to see this new panel that shows up and it gives you a verdict with each lead. So if it's bad, it would show up red. If it's good, it shows up green. If it's worn, it shows up, I think, like yellow. And you'll get some information about the lead. You'll get even to see the raw response. There's more information that would come through as well. And then you can see why the lead um, was marked as good, worn, or bad. So we're bringing it full circle. We're not just giving you a way to integrate with Anura, we're showing you the results on your lead detail page. And in addition to that, you can pass the click fraud result into your CRM and your lead distribution tool. But that's not all. We even took this one step further. So you can go into your funnel here and you could filter on, let's go here. Once you turn on click fraud, you can go into your flow logic and you can set up conditions, and you could say if somebody has a click fraud score of good, route them this way. If it's bad, route them that way. And you could actually use the click fraud detection in your funnel logic routing. And then when it comes to credits, click fraud is one credit, so you can go into the credits area. There's a couple of updates I want to note here as well. And you'll see click fraud detection right here, and it's just simply deducted from your pool of credits. Now, on the credits page, there's an update here where now you can see all of your combined credit usage and you can see the full breakdown by month. Previously, we didn't really have a great way to show that, so we updated this so this way you can see credit usage. And then an update here before we wrap up and get to gamification. If you're using session recording, our lead playback feature, something that was personally driving me crazy was when you start to collect a ton of recordings, like you'll see I have around 900 now, it gets hard to filter by funnel. So now if you go into recordings, you're going to see a drop down and you can simply filter by funnel here like this. And then you can see all recordings per funnel. This is just the start. There's a lot of updates we'll make to lead playback eventually. I think we'll have we'll have Copilot come in and analyze recordings for you. So expect many more updates in the future on this. Okay, let's see. Is there anything big that I missed before going to more updates? So there's a few more things, nothing that I'm going to spend time on in this video. I want to end with our gamification feature. And this, I think, opens up a whole new way to engage prospects. Let's just dive into this. So we'll go here, we'll go to this test funnel here, and there's a new step type called gamification. And you'll see you can now add these little spinners. So this is actually a bad example because I don't have this set up properly. I was doing some testing. So I wish I had shown you a better looking example. Let me fix this real quick. Okay, I cleaned it up. So now let's just take a quick look at how this works here. One of the biggest problems that most lead gen funnels and lead forms and surveys face is low engagement on the first step. So I don't know if you've ever been to a casino or even an event or a trade booth and you've walked by and you've seen people spin a wheel. Everybody stops and wants their chance to win something. The whole idea is you can use gamification on the first step, and you need to think creatively about how you would use this in your own lead gen campaigns with your own industry, but you would use a spinning wheel like this to incentivize somebody to click forward to the next step. And I'll talk about some of the logistics of how this works here. You can design the whole thing. You can add weights per thing. You've probably seen these with online stores like Shopify stores. Well, why is nobody applying this to lead gen? So you come in, you can add this to the first step. You can add this in the middle. You can add this to the end. Somebody clicks spin. I don't know if this volume works, but it even has the ticking sound. And then it says, congrats, you won. And it explains what they won. And then you click continue and you go to the next step. So that is how it works. And then what's really cool here is the thing that they won actually gets stored and it gets carried through with the lead to wherever the lead's going. So when you're routing the lead to your CRM or lead distribution tool or buyers or clients or team, you can actually route that value to them so they can see exactly what was won. You can create follow-up campaigns based on it. Somebody can call up that lead, and maybe this increases contact rates, and you can say, hey, Bob, I saw that you won a free or like a VIP case review. How would you like to get that started? So it could actually be used as part of the sales conversation. Or even in follow-up campaigns, you can have a text message that goes out as soon as somebody submits, and you can say, hey, Bob, I saw you just won your free VIP case review. How would you like to get started now? Maybe that's one of the keys to increasing response rates. So you really need to think about how this would apply to your industry. It's going to take some creativity. Maybe Copilot can help you brainstorm. But just to show you here how this works, you can add up to 8 slices here. You can even add a respin to give people the feeling that it's not like fully rigged or something, and they can have a chance to win a respin and then respin again. You can add weighted distribution. So maybe in this case, I want my VIP call to be like 60%, because maybe we see that is something. We see that's something that converts really high in follow up. We have to fix this issue with the one. And then maybe the rest get like 5%, something like that. So you can play with all of that, and then you'll see what the percent chance comes out to be once it's calculated. And then to take things a step further, you can add in the spinning duration. You can have it longer, shorter. You can disable the ticking sound. I don't know why you would do that, though. I think it's a pretty cool effect. And then you can even style all of this. So maybe you want the outer ring to be like red or a different color. Actually, you would probably want to go with green. And I feel like there's one other thing. Oh, there's something major I'm forgetting here. If you want to protect yourself from somebody coming back and clicking the back button and continuing to respin, you can essentially lock it. So you can lock first prize. So the way this works here is if I click through, let's spin it. Oh, I just want a quick call. Okay. Oh, but maybe I want that VIP one. I'm going to go back, but I can't re-click because I want the quick call. So that is gamification. And I think this opens up some possibilities for some new steps, types to add in. To add engagement, click on this little plus sign and you're going to see spin wheel. Eventually, I think we'll have maybe like slots, scratch offs, all that type of stuff. But I want to see what type of engagement this feature gets first, because it's kind of a new idea. I don't really see people using this in lead gen. I would recommend testing this on your first step and seeing if it improves engagement and seeing how it improves things downstream of things. Because as I said, you can use this in your follow-up campaigns, and you can kind of like use it to, I think, increase response rates post submission. So that's it for now. More updates coming over the next few weeks. Stay tuned for more. Thanks.